I just want to do a quick recap of the Come to the River 10K I did just this morning. It went pretty well. I ran about almost a minute faster than I did last year. I got under 40 minutes for a 10K, which is pretty good in any circumstances, but certainly today the high was like 90 degrees and it feels like 93 or something the last time I looked. So really warm weather. Obviously it wasn't 90 degrees at 8:15 in the morning when the race started, but it was already plenty warm. It felt pretty good going out the door, but it was only going to heat up after that, and by race time it was already feeling pretty darn warm. During the race even, I definitely felt, I just had a singlet on, and I could feel that it was really pretty warm already. But yeah, that being said, I felt pretty good about that pace, that time. I came in 7th overall, first Masters. There were a whole gaggle of cross-country kids that ran the race with me. Ended up running down at least, I think, 4 that I counted of them. It was a little hard to keep track because there was also a 5K staggered start. So I don't know how many people that passed at the end were ahead of me in the 10K versus slower 5K runners. But in any event, I caught several of them, so that felt very good. At one point, a runner, it was an out and back course, so I was coming back already, and another older guy like me was running still the other way, and he said something like, show those young kids how it's done, or something like that. So that was pretty cool. I was the only person who wasn't a teenager in the top 10, so pretty proud of that, and I was the Masters winner overall. And yeah, so I felt pretty darn good about it. Pace-wise, I can do a lot faster. If it was, 30 degrees colder or whatever. I almost ran faster than that in the half marathon just 2 weeks ago. So if that puts that in perspective for you, I'm definitely capable of running faster than that, but just not in this heat. Not with basically minimal taper, if any, and marathon training as well. So one thing that I seem to always forget is just how hilly and how turny that the river trail is downtown Lansing. I've run probably at least a half dozen, maybe a dozen races on the river trail, different pieces of it. So I should really know by now, but I had remembered from last year it was really twisty and turny. I had looked on Strava and everything, and so I was prepared for that, but I forget about how much there really is a lot of up and down on that river trail. So even though, like in Strava, it shows like a 0 elevation for like certain miles, there was a lot of up and down in between that. So that was one thing that kind of, I had to I have to remember that next time I do a race, that's what I'm in for, because it always seems like in my head, it's like, well, that's a pretty flat trail, but there is actually quite a bit of variance. There's lots of little bridges over and things like that it's actually quite a bit of undulating terrain there. So yeah, this was kind of another boost of confidence going into Marquette Marathon. Last year I seem to remember that like all 3 of my tune-ups were disappointing, and so my confidence wasn't really going very strong going into Marquette last year. So that's kind of doubling my confidence this year, because I had 2 pretty good tune-ups so far. I got 1 more to go. I'm doing a single leg of the Lake Lansing Teton Marathon, 5.2 mile race. So doing 1 lap of that. So yeah, regardless of, even if I totally fall apart for that race, I'm going to feel pretty confident about these last 2 performances, because I know last year I ran a 3:11 marathon on those performances. This year I did a whole heck of a lot better in both of my first tune-ups. So everything's pointing to a good performance here in 4 weeks already. So yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. I'll be back. I still owe you the Marathon de Mont Blanc preview. Try to get that out one of these days, preview and then review. And I also got a shoe review that I have to get out. So I'm still catching up with that. Thanks for watching. Next month or so is going to be interesting, trying to get out a lot of videos, get caught up. And I'll try to do some training topics too. I would like to do more of them. If anyone has anything they want me to talk about, I'm happy to. So, you know, comment if you have anything you'd like me to talk about. I don't claim to be any kind of an expert. I'm sort of a slightly better than mediocre runner, but I have been doing this for a while now, so maybe for beginners I have some wisdom to impart. So, so yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like the content. I'm almost at 200 subscribers, which is a lot for me. Would love to get up to 1,000 to start making money again. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.